Hello and welcome to Drummer's Choice. I'm Nolly and today we're going to look at the Dennis Chambers signature snare from Pearl. This is a new model that's just come out to commemorate 30 years of Dennis Chambers and Pearl working together. It's got an RRP of £911, so it's quite an expensive snare drum. It's a 14 by 5 inch snare with a 3mm cast aluminium shell, borrowing from the Pearl Ultracast series, and it's got 2mm reinforcement rings as well. Obviously Dennis Chambers is a pretty legendary drummer. His signature snare sound tends to be really high tuned, and it's got a characteristic dry cut to it. So that's primarily what we're going to be looking for in this drum. Let's check out some more sound samples. So kind of to be expected, this snare has got a really bright and articulate sound. It's obviously really good at capturing the ghost notes, and as well as having quite a lot of that characteristic Dennis Chambers pop to it. This snare comes from the factory with an Evans G12 coated batter head. That's a single ply head that's 12mm thick, so it's thicker than your average Ambassador or G1. I think this is a really great head for the cranked tunings which Dennis is known for, and we certainly found that this drum seems to come to life most when you crank it. In particular, we weren't that into the lower tuning. We felt that it kind of brought out a lot of ugly overtones and kind of had this zong kind of character to it that was quite difficult to dial out. When we got up to the mid-range, there were some usable sounds there, but I think it's pretty safe to say that if you want to buy this snare, it's because you want that really cranked sound. It's not the most versatile snare drum on the market, but if you are after a really great cranked poppy snare sound, this might be a good option for you. I think one of the really cool features of this drum is the three-way strainer system. This allows you to have 3 different positions to set from loose to tight your strainer, and I think that's a really cool thing to be able to have. If you leave it in the middle position as your kind of general strainer setting, you can back it off for a loose, fuzzier feel, or you can tighten it up to get a really crisp, dry snare sound. So I think that's a really cool little feature that this drum has that I haven't seen on that many others. We all felt like this drum was a really good looking drum. The ribbed aluminium shell looks particularly great under lights. It doesn't necessarily make me think of Dennis Chambers when I see it, but it is a great looking drum. I think it would look really good in most situations. Something that you'll notice pretty quickly when you look at the drum is the fact that it's got mismatched number of lugs on the batter and reso heads. Now it's got 12 lugs on the top, 8 on the bottom, Pearl seem to think that this has got something to do with giving a more balanced sound. To be honest, that strikes me as a little bit gimmicky. Don't know that necessarily that would give such a more balanced sound as they say, and certainly I'd expect that we might see it on more drums if it did. That said, I do think that having 12 lugs on the top does make it that much easier to get it cranked and put loads of pressure down on the top head. Speaking of cranking it up, I did find that the lugs were quite coarse in their adjustment, so when we were trying to fine-tune the low tuning, it was quite difficult to get nailed. But it was really useful if you want to get straight up into that really high-tuned territory that Dennis Chambers fans will certainly be looking for. At £911, this is a really pricey snare. Now, obviously the street value is probably going to be a little bit lower than that, but it does seem to me that it's quite expensive for what, to me, is a bit of a one-trick pony. That said, if you can get a good deal on one and you're particularly after that sound, it could be a good purchase. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video on the Dennis Chambers snare. Let us know what you think. We're always really interested to see what you might get out of these reviews. So write us a comment below and see you next time on Drummer's Choice.